was a little bit of the accompaniment for Jesse Thomas, Another Friend Like Me. This is a fabulous tune with a lot of inventiveness in the guitar part. Jesse doesn't really repeat himself in between the verses when he takes little solo breaks. He does something different every time, which is kind of unusual in the blues. A lot of guys would tend to take a simple pattern and just play that the whole time over and over again, certainly in old time music. So it reminds me of the inventiveness of someone like Jimi Hendrix much later on when he covered Bob Dylan's All Along the Watchtower, and he made a statement solo after every verse in answer to Dylan's lyrics, if you will. So this is a bit like that, but this is all Jesse, and it's a really cool tune. So what I'm going to do in this first video is give you the basics of how to play in open D tuning. The recording is in F, which would mean you'd need to capo at the 3rd fret to play along with that, which I recommend you do later. But for ease of exposition, I'll just keep the capo off for now while I teach it to you, and then you can put the capo on and play along with the original recording. So we're in open D tuning, as I said, and then this first video I'm just going to walk you through some of the basics in open D that you need to play along with this track, the chord forms and how to strum. And then in a second video I'll walk you through those solo sections that I mentioned earlier and go into a bit more detail about the finger picking on the guitar. Alright, so for now we've got the guitar in open D, as I said. So you've got D, A, D, F sharp, A, D. And the great thing about the open tuning, of course, is you have your 1 chord right there without doing anything. You could hitchhike with this, or smoke a cigarette, or drink your coffee, and still be playing the tune. Pretty cool. And then the 4 chord is really simple as well. We just need 2 fingers. Index finger here on the 3rd string, and 2nd finger on the 5th string. So that's a 4 chord. And what Jesse does a lot of the time is he makes this dominant, turns it into a 7 chord. So he adds his pinky there in the gap between those 2 on the 4th string. So you get. Okay, now the 5 chord is exactly the same as the 4 chord, except you just move the 2nd finger down to the 4th string like so. And I like to add my ring finger on the high string directly below on the 2nd fret as well. So you've got index, 2nd, ring, and your root note here is on the 5th string there. Okay, back to the 4 chord, back to the 1. Okay, now another little trick he uses in this is he makes the 1 chord a 7 as well, which is really simple. We just add 1 finger on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string, like so. Okay, so another thing to mention here is controlling the guitar a little bit with your right hand. So the first thing to do is karate chop the bridge, pow, and then roll your hand around. So your hand is constantly muting those strings. We don't want it to sound like this. It's a big noise. So we want detail and control. So let's pop our hand here and just strum with the thumb, brushing down across all the strings. You get a dull thud. 4 chord, back to the 1. Okay, so as I said, this is a slightly simplified version of what Jesse actually does on the recording, and this will be aimed at anybody who's maybe not a fingerstyle guitarist or is not used to playing an open D tuning, and this will be a way that you can still comp along behind the track quite easily and not, feel like you're not playing the right thing. Okay, so I'll go through that a little bit more detail now. So this song has a quick 4 change. So in the first 4 bars, where it would normally just be a 1 chord, it plays 1 bar of the 1 chord and then 1 bar of the 4 chord and back to the 1 for the last 2 bars. So I'll demonstrate that for you now. what he does, instead of just playing the one chord like that, he actually puts his finger here on the 3rd fret on the 4th string, and he pinches that with the open strings, so you get this sound. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then he changes to the 4 chord. Just 4 strums, and then back, and then the 7. Okay, so I'll put that together and play it very slowly. Go back to the 4 chord for 2 bars, back to the 1, and this time we're going to just hammer on there, and then it's time for the 5 chord, back to the 4, hit the open string, and then we descend, 3rd fret, 2nd fret, open string, and then the open root note on the bass. Okay. Sharp 5, 5. So take that 5 chord and just move it up 1 fret and back, and that's the end of that section. So I'll just play that little turnaround at the end. So from the 5 chord to the 4. One more time. Bass. Bass. Okay, so let's put that whole verse accompaniment together slowly. Starting here, pinching. Boogie. 5 chord. Alright, so that is the essence of what you need to play along with this, and he does a whole lot more, which I'm going to cover in the next video. So have fun with that for now, and get that under your fingers, and you'll be well positioned to start looking at the more advanced tutorial. Best of luck. Speak to you soon. Cheers. Bye bye.